All right, shalom, shalom. I'm the brother Marakab. But first and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah Kadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Now the Akim out there, they pushing truth with nothing but sincerity in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. Started from the tribe of Judah all the way down to Issachar. And like I said, I'm the brother Marakab. And today I want to speak about who is the wicked, you know? Because when you hear of the wicked, you know, you're just like, well, you know, wicked as in like the devil with horns, or, you know, just Satanists, you know, people that believe in Satan and things like that, you know, or someone that's a murderer. Oh, he was wicked though. Yeah, you know, even within our people, man, you know, even within our people, the 2/3, they wicked too though, man. Their actions are like the wicked though. But as us as Israelites, we're supposed to, you know, we have guidelines though, you know, we have supposed to have structure though, you know, but the wicked, which is Esau, the wicked Esau, you know, he's naturally wicked though, man. You know what I'm saying? Because which I'll get this one real quick. I believe it's Psalms 58:3. You know, because Esau is, you know, which is the white man, he is a fucking wicked ass person though, man. And he has showed it throughout generations though, you know, from the time of Cain, when he slayed his brother, you know, when he came back again as Esau, the man, you know. So it's just records of generations though, man. When you know when he came back though, you know, to the time of the Renaissance time though, you know what I'm saying, he came and conquered though, he killed and conquered, you know. And I was talking to the brother though, like, you know, like with Jake, man, which is the, you know, prominently the southern kingdom of Judah, like not even 50 years ago, or like not even 60 years ago, they was lynching you guys, man. You know what I'm saying though? They was lynching you guys though. Literally hanging you on fucking trees and shit, man. These devils were literally hanging from your neck though on these trees, not even more than 60 years ago, man. And you're still gonna be like all cool with these motherfuckers though, man. So I trip out on Judah, man. You know, I trip out on Judah, man. You know, like how you gonna, you know, like, you know, you got that Stockholm syndrome, man. You got that literally that Stockholm syndrome where this devil done so much to you though that you feel sorry for him though, you know. You're like, nah, he's not wicked though, he's not bad though. But that shit goes back, you know, that's a Stockholm syndrome, man. Knowing they did all this shit to you and you want to feel sorry for them, or you want to, you know, if they're not in the kingdom, they're not in the heaven though, you don't want to go to heaven though because these Edomites ain't gonna be there. Man, they got you that fucked up, man, you know. So let me get Psalms 58, I believe it's 58:3. Yeah, Psalms 58:3, it says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies, man. So they're natural born liars, man. They're natural born liars, though. You know what I'm saying? And you can't tell me these Edomites, though, they don't be lying to you, man. You know what I'm saying, though? You can't tell me that Edomites don't lie to you, though. You know what I'm saying, though? They lie to you about your history. You know what I mean? First and foremost, they lie to you, you know, saying that you're not Israelites, you know, from the tribe of Judah all the way down to Issachar. You know what I'm saying, though? They be saying, you guys ain't the Israelites, though. They be calling us bywords and shit like that, man. You guys are just Mexicans. You guys are just Negroes. Man, they were like what? They were colored. They were Negro, African American. Now black, man. That's 4 bywords in less than a century. You know what I'm saying though? Like, god damn, man. Like, what's next though, man? Darkness? They're gonna be calling you darkness? Like, man, you guys, you know, you guys proud to say you guys are black, man. You know what I'm saying? You guys are proud to say, yeah, I'm black though, you know? But it's like, well, before you guys were African Americans, then Negroes, and then colored. Like, you guys went through like 4 different bywords though in less than 50 years, man. You know what I'm saying though? So it just tripped, man. How you let this white man keep calling you these different names though, but on realization, especially you, Judah. You're the top tribe, though, man. You're the top tribe, though. You know. But like I said, today I'm here to speak about who the wicked is, and which is this Edomite, Esau, man. You know, because there is no repentance for this fucking devil, man. You know what I'm saying, though? Because at the time of Genesis, though, there is the sons of God, which is Israelites, though, which is the sons of man, which are the other nations, the heathen, and it is the son of the wicked, which is you Edomites, though, man. Because there always been a generation from back then, though, but we were just called different names, though, you know. But it's the same bloodline, though, man, throughout generations and shit, man. You know, and that's the thing, man. You want to save this devil, but this devil don't even give a fuck about you, though. You know what I'm saying, though? So let me get the book of Hebrews. The book of Hebrews 12 and 16, it says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. So, you know, he's a piece of shit, man. He wasn't even, you know what I mean? He sold literally his birthright for a meal, though, man. For some, you know, some sodden soup, though. You see what I'm saying, though? Because it says here, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau. And this is the New Testament, though. You know what I'm saying? This is the New Testament. This is Paul speaking, though, man. You know? So, I'm going to go into the blue letter. Go into the blue letter. Oh, Slovakia, though, because that word profane is the word profane means ungodly, though. So this guy Esau, you know what I'm saying, he's against Yahweh Shem Yahushai, though. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a profane, which profane means literally like outside the temple. You know what I'm saying, though? Because let me get that definition of profane, you know, on the etymology, though. See, it means desecrate, right? Treat holy things with irreverence. You see? Unholy. You know what I'm saying, though? So, you know, it means unholy, though. So, when you think about the Israelites, though, we're holy people. We're separated. We're separated, though. So, this guy, Esau, and bloodline, of course, which is, you know, they unholy, though, man. So that means if the father's unholy, his bloodline is going to be also tainted. You know what I'm saying, though? So it goes to show, man. It goes to show. So, you know, like I said, he's a profane person. He's no good, man. You know? And that's Paul speaking in the book of Hebrews saying that, though. You know? So, because you always want to talk about the Old Testament, or Esau is either like done away with, though, or Esau's, you know, try to save Esau or such and such, though. But even in the New Testament, though, you know what I'm saying, though, like, you know, Paul said that, though, man. Paul said that, you know. But then that's the thing, though, right? With these, you know, Edomites be saying, oh, we're not Esau. We're not Esau. But, you know, history tells differently, though, you know. So I'm going to go into the book of Genesis. Genesis 25:3, it says, because this is the story, though, you know, this is the story of Jacob and Esau, you know, and like the characteristics was showed when Esau was born, you know. It says, and the Most High said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and the two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. See, but it says two nations, though, two different nations, though. So Esau and Jacob, yeah, they just shared they shared the womb, though. They shared the like incubator, they shared it, though, but these were two totally different people, though, man, you know, because it says two nations are in thy womb, you know, because because there's that thing though. I forgot what it's called though, where um, let's say like a guy has sex, right, with a woman though, and he, he share his seed though, you know, and then like I don't know how long later, if another guy comes in though, and he has sex with a woman though, that same woman though, and he shares his seed in that woman. Two kids come out of that though. You know what I'm saying? Two kids can come out of that though. You know, and I'm not saying this is the case that happened with her though, but I'm just saying though, like like I said, it was the kid though had a different father though. They didn't share the same father. And there was a show on Netflix, I forgot what it was called though, you know, and I guess this woman got raped though, you know, and then he was with her husband though, but she went out with their fucking friend though at a club or some shit. She got drugged though, and he ended up, you know, raping her, and then she ended up being pregnant with two kids though, you know what I'm saying though, but this wasn't the case here though, you know, because these were just two different nations though, man, you know. So Esau and Jacob were not the same, man, you know what I'm saying though, we're not the same. It says, for one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger, you know. So, you know, like these Edomites supposed to be serving us though, man, you know, and we are stronger, man. We are stronger than these Edomites though, man, in sports, in working, you know what I'm saying though, and getting women though, and we're stronger, you know, physically, you know, we're just stronger though, man, in anything, man, you know what I'm saying though. We're better warriors though, we're better boxers though, we're better at, you know, we're just stronger though, physically too, man, you know what I'm saying though. You know, who be out there working in the fields as hard as Issachar, man, or Zebulon? Not these Edomites, I'll tell you that much. We're better than them though. And then when you come into the boxing ring area, who's a better boxer, man? It's always fucking Jake, man, the best boxer, you know. And even if a so-called Edomite-looking boxer is good though, he might be an Israelite though, you know. So we're just stronger though, you know, just naturally though. And it says, and when her days were to be delivered, behold, there were twins in her womb. And then 25 it says, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So this baby named Esau, right? He came out all red though. He wasn't hairy though, but you know, you gotta understand back then, they used to, you know, the garments they used to dip them in goat's blood though, to give them that color though, you know what I'm saying though. So he just came out looking like a garment though, man, dipped in goat blood though, you know, because back then the way they'll just have the goat blood though, and they will dip the garment in there to give it that red color though, you know. It's the same thing with I believe I think it's the scarlet worm, well they'll have them like in the water though, and it gives out this like beautiful red color though, you know, like scarlet color though, and you're able to dip like your clothes in there or things like that, you know. Sometimes that practice is practiced like in these different countries though, you know, and they'll get like fruits though, they'll get flowers or things like that, man, where it what's it called though, it puts out this different color in the water though, and then you're able to dip like clothes or things like that in there though, and it gives it that same color though, you know what I'm saying though. So but anyways, he was looking like that, you know, all red though. So yeah, and he was looking all red though, you know. So that's why they, you know, that's the thing though. So he was wasted away, his pigment though, he had no melanin, you know. So he was like, you know, like I said, wasted away though. So when a baby's born though, and they always like to say, oh, these what's it called though, when the kids are born and shit though, they look all red all the time though, you know, and things like that though. But you gotta understand, back then, you know, the people back then were dark though. They were so-called black though, man. So to see something like that though, you know, like this baby where you could see like he was all white, so-called white though, and you had no melanin, that shit was a trip though, man. You know what I'm saying though? So even at the times of back then though, I mean, that was just like seeing like a white roach in your kitchen. You're like, what the fuck is that? You know? So he was, you know, his skin literally was just like wasted away though. That's why they call him Esau. So it says, yeah, and after that came his brother out, and his hand took on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 70 years old when she bare them. You know. So we look at 27. It says, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. You see. So, you know, who's known to be a hunter, man? You know, you talk about these Edomites, these rednecks, though, man. These rednecks like to go out there and hunt, though, man. These rednecks like to go out there and hunt, though. So, you know, that characteristic is shown to this day, though, man. So Esau was someone that liked to go out there, you know, in the field, get dirty, though, man. And, you know, these Edomites, they do that shit, though, man. These Edomites like to hunt, though, man. They just like to hunt as a sport, though. Not even to eat or survive, man. You see what I'm saying, though? So that's occurred. And then it says Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents, though. Yeah, man, Jacob, we like to chill, man. You know? We like to, it's a good weather, man. We out there chilling, though, man. You know what I'm saying? Chilling, you know how, you know, Jake stay chilling with the homies and carne asada, or, you know, just barbecuing it up or some shit. We just chilling, though, man. And that's a characteristic within the tribes, though, man. You know, because, you know, right here, you know, right here in Huron, though, which is the majority of Issachar and some Zebulon, though, and you be seeing them, man, they be out there just chilling, though, man. Issachar just be outside chilling, though, you know. This early, too, in the morning, though, you know. So, continue to read, though. It says, and Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sought pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same bread pottage, which it wasn't even cooked, though, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom, you know. So yeah, so he pretty much, and Jacob 31, it says, and Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. But I believe Edom is wasted away, though. But Salakia, though, you know, I should have wrote that down, as, you know, clarified, though. I believe Edom means wasted away. It says, and Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And 32, it says, and Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up, and he went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. You see, man, this motherfucker had, that's what Esau does, man. You know what I'm saying, though? Like, he had the birthright right then and there, though, but he literally gave his birthright for fucking some that wasn't even cooked, though. And so, you know, that's why it goes to show, man, this is a characteristic of a Edomite, man. He don't even care for things, though, man. Like, he's weak, man. He's a weak motherfucker. You know, he's a weak motherfucker, man. You know, no, just take this. I don't care, though. You know, that's how Edomite like pulls his weight, though, man. You know. So I wanted to read this story, though, in Genesis, the 25th chapter, to show, you know, the characteristics of this Edomite, though, man. And like I said, though, going back to Hebrews, the 12th chapter, verse 16, is Esau. You know, that was literally his birth, though, the bloodline, though, man. You know, because, yeah, I read the story, though, but it goes deeper than that, man. It goes deeper than that, though, man. Like I said, that story was just, you know, like to show his characteristics of how he really is, though, man. You know what I'm saying? He was born red. You can't tell me when these Edomites are born, though, the babies, you look at them motherfuckers all red, though, man. You know? And then they're cunning hunters, man. These motherfucking rednecks, though, or these hunters, the majority of them, they're good. They Edomites, man, because they're blessed by the sword, though, man, which is the gun. You know? And when shit hits the fan, though, they're a bunch of pussies, man. You know? So that was just the characteristics too of this devil, man. You know? So now we'll go back to, because there is a thing called reincarnation, though, man. You know what I'm saying, though? There is a thing called reincarnation, though, man. So let me go to the book of Genesis 4 and 3. It says, in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Most High. Because, you know, we believe that Cain is Esau, man. This is the same spirit, though, man. This is the same spirit. You know, believe that Cain and Esau are the same spirit, man. So, but you know, of course, through reincarnation, though. And it says, and the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Most High. And Abel, he also brought the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Most High had respect unto Abel and to his offering. Yeah, because Abel, you know, did the right thing, though, man. Like, what the fuck, you come over here bringing some fucking fruit, though, to sacrifice, though? You know, that's some weird ass shit that Esau will do, man. You know what I'm saying, though? That's some weird ass shit that Esau will do, though. Like, you're gonna do sacrificing of fruits, though, instead of animals, knowing damn well that you sacrifice the animals. You know, to me, that's just some weird shit, man. So it says, and Abel, I read that part 4. It says, but unto Cain and to his offering he had no respect, and Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. Yeah, he was all mad, though, because, you know, the wicked, which is Esau, he can never do the right thing, you know, he can't do the right thing. And it says, 7, it says, if thou dost well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou dost not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall he desire, and thou shalt rule over him. See, and it says, 8, it says, and Cain talked with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against his brother, Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. So, you know, this guy was hating his brother, though, man, because he did the righteous thing, though. So therefore, this motherfucker just ended up killing him, you know, in the field, you know. And the Most High said unto Cain, where is Abel, thy brother? And he said, I know not, I am my brother's keeper. See, and that's something that this devil will do, man. He'll do some wicked shit like that, and he'll lie to you saying, I didn't do that, though. What are you talking about? You know, this motherfucker's always to blame other people, but he don't hold himself accountable for his actions and shit, man. You see what I'm saying, though? And this is the characteristic of a fucking Edomite, man. You know? So, you know, like I'm saying, though, Esau, which is Edomites, though, they can't do right, though, man. It's just in their nature not to do right, though. You know? You know? So that's the thing, though. Let me get this piece real quick. I believe this is Isaiah. Because that's the thing, though, you know, the honor and dishonor, comes from the Most High, though, man. You know, the dishonor one are these Edomites, though, and the honor is the you know, Jacob, which is Israelites, though, you know. And but that's the thing about it, though, man. This guy, man, like I said, though, Esau, you know, Cain, the story of Cain, though, what he did, though, that was a characteristic that is known for Edomites to do so, man. Especially to these fucking tribes, though, man. You know what I'm saying, though? They do you dirty, man. They've been doing us dirty, man, for many generations and shit, though. And we're supposed to accept these fucking devils, though, and say like, oh, man, they good now? They good now? Because at least they ain't lynching us. Or, you know what I'm saying, though? At least they ain't, you know, raping our women in front of us and shit, though. Man, we're supposed to accept these motherfuckers and forget, because they always say, oh, that's in the past. That's in the past, though. That's in the past. But okay, well, if it's all in the past, though, how come you don't recompense or what's that word called? Give us some reparations of then what you have done and shit, man. Right? You know, with Jake, though, how come you don't give them your guys' big businesses, though, man? How come you don't have Jake owning fields, though? You know what I'm saying, though? Or how about this? How about you give Issachar back the 5 states that you took away from him? You know? Can you at least, that's some reparations, right? You tell that to Edomite, they'll be like, oh, nah, man, I mean, we already established a lot of things here, or, you know, this and this and that, you know? But nah, we're not even worried about that shit, man. We're not even worried about trying to get the 5 states back, though, man, which is California through Texas, though, man. Nah, man, the real reparations is going to come with the time of Yahweh Shema Shai when he comes, though, and destroys this place, though, man. Because this place is known as the border of wickedness, though, you know? So, that's the thing, though. So we don't want your reparations, Esau, even if you try to give us the 5 states back and all this other shit, because the real reparations is going to come when Yahweh Shai comes, though, with the angels, and destroy this place and save his elect, though, man. You know? So that's the only time, though. So we're not waiting for reparations from you, Esau. We're just waiting for your downfall, man, which is gonna come. You know? So, it says, I'll get back to it. It says, 10, it says, and he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. I mean, you know, and it said, what hast thou done? Log into my break real quick, though. And it says, 11, it says, and now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. And when thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield into her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond thou shalt be in the earth. See? And that's the thing, because then when you jump down to 15, it talks about the Most High put a mark unto Cain, which that mark was leprosy, though, man. Because, you know, Cain was dark skinned, though, man. He was dark skinned. Even Cain back then, you know, he was dark skinned, though. You know what I'm saying, though? But the thing is, though, that mark, though, what it was, though, because people like to say, oh, a mark, though, it was on the forehead and shit. But if it was a mark on the forehead, you could have just put so-called, what they call the Taliban's or whatever the case be, though. They could have just easily put one of those, though, and he would have walked around like if nothing, though, man. You know what I'm saying? Because if someone has a what's it called, though, a mark, though, somewhere in the arm or the chest or leg, they could just cover it up, though. So, but you see this mark, though, it was, you know, he was on leprosy, though, man. You know? So that, you know, that's this devil, man. That's what he is, though, man. He's a fucking devil, man. So he gave him. That's why when you see these Edomites with people with no melanin, that's the mark of Cain, though, man. Yeah. So let me get Genesis, the 3rd chapter, going into the 3 and 7. It says, because now it goes to the time of the serpent, right? When he lied to Eve. It says Genesis 3, because it, you know what I mean? How is a fucking a snake gonna talk to a person, though? Do you ever go out to the zoo and you heard a snake talk? Nah, man. So the serpent that it's talking about was a person, though, man. You know? So Genesis 3 and 3, it says, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. So that serpent was lying to Eve, though. You know what I'm saying? That serpent was lying to Eve, though. You know? And it says, for God to know that in that day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and you should be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, which just means she was listening to the other nations' philosophies, though, man. You know what I mean, though? I mean, it wasn't overnight, though, where she made Adam go off, though. It was just throughout the time, though, you know? And it says, she took of the fruit thereof, so she took in that philosophies, and did eat, and gave it also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. Yeah, so she pretty much was listening to other. In other words, she was listening to other people, you know, which is the other nations, though, at that time. And then she started convincing Adam through time, though, because like I said, it wasn't overnight, though, and she was convincing him where he started to listen to Eve, man. But Eve listened to that fucking serpent, you know. And the eyes, both of them, were open, and they knew that they were naked. Yeah, they were ashamed, though. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. But yeah, because they were naked. They weren't literally naked. They were just, you know, ashamed, though, man. They started going off. They don't have that protection anymore, though. You see what I'm saying? So it's like the same. It's like the what's it called, though? The law, statutes, and commandments. You know, it's like 613, though. But we try to keep them best of our ability, though. But remember, there's commandments, though, unto death, man. So if there's sins to death, though, man, you know. So the serpent, though, is the spirit that he had lying, is the same spirit that the Edomites have, though, because they lied to our people, man. They lied to the whole nations, though, man. They lied to everybody, though. You see? So that's the thing about it, though, man. So when you talk about this devil, though, being a liar, though, he's always been a liar since the time of in the garden, though. Time of Cain, trying to lie to the Most High. You know what I'm saying, though? And you know, all this other stuff, man. So these motherfuckers have a history of known to be liars, though, man. You know, to this day, man, these motherfucking Edomites at your job, though, they'll try to throw you under the bus and give a lie saying that they saw you such and such, probably steal something, which it wasn't truth, though. But you know what I'm saying, though? So they'll go against you, though, man. Even at your jobs, your fucking, you know, you see Jake, though, live, you see videos of Jake, though, living in these rich neighborhoods, and these Edomites be fucking with them, man. Jake made it out of the hood, though, living in a place, though, which is considered rich or whatever, and you got these Edomites looking at this guy down as a nigga, like, man, what is this nigga doing being right here? You know? Just seen one yesterday, too. So, you can't trust these devils, though, because I'll get Psalms 55 and 20, it says, and he had put forth, this is talking about Esau, right? It's Edomites. He had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He has broken his covenant. 21, it says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart, but his words were softer than oil. Yet they have drawn swords. See, these motherfuckers will stab you in the back, though, man. Yeah, we'll talk to you all cool and everything, though, but he has an agenda, you know? And these are characteristics of this fucking devil, man. You know, you can't tell me, nah, man, but nah, these are characteristics of this fucking devil, man. You know, they'll talk to y'all cool and everything, though, but they have deceit in their heart, though, man. You know, they try to fuck you over, though. And this is characteristic that this devil does, though, man. Because let me get, I believe it's Isaiah 28. 28 or 10? I believe it's Isaiah 10. Yeah. Isaiah 10 and 1, it says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. You see? So woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, though, man. Yeah, man, and these devils, they're on the rule right now. They prescribe unrighteous decrees, though, man. You know, back in the time of Obama, he was letting these fruitcakes get married and shit, man. And just this whole philosophy of America, how they have it down as like, oh, you know, it's okay to be this. I mean, if you're talking about the bathrooms and shit, where either boy or girl could walk into the bathroom and shit, and then it's like, nah, it's not right, man. That's like should be the woman's restroom and the man's restroom, though, man. And now they having it where a grown ass man with a full beard, he says he's a woman, and that gives him the right, though, to go into the woman's restroom and shit, man. That's not right, man. You know. So, but there's so many things, though, that America does that's not so right, though. That, you know what I mean? They don't believe in what's that, polygamy? You know what I'm saying, though? But it's just shit like that, man, that America produces that is just not right, though. It's unrighteous decrees, you know? So, let me get a Malachi. Malachi 1:1, it says, the burden of the word of the Most High to Israel by Malachi. It says 2, it says, I have loved you, saith the Most High. Yet ye say, within hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Most High? Yea, I love Jacob. And in 3, it says, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. See? But it says, and I hated Esau. And this is in the scriptures, man. This is the book, the last book of the Old Testament, though. You know? And it says, and I hated Esau and laid his mountains, though. So it goes to show that the Most High hates Esau, man. He hates this person. And some people want to say, oh, nah, you know, it's Esau. He hated the man Esau, though, man. No, man, that goes down to his bloodline, though. Because you are what your father is, though, man. You know what I'm saying, though? And the only people that, let's say if you got a father, right? Because a lot of our fathers are wicked, man. You know what I'm saying, though? But it tells you in Ezekiel, I don't know if it's the 18 or 16 chapter, is that you're not, just because your father was sinful, you don't have to suffer, you suffer for your father's sins though. You know, especially if you're an Israelite though, man. You know, your father, you know, like I said, a lot of us, our fathers were wicked though, man. They were, you know, either gang banging and shit or smoking or just, you know what I'm saying, doing the wicked shit of the world though. But just because he was doing so doesn't mean that you can't repent, man, as an Israelite, man. Because that's the goodness of Yahweh Shema Shai though, that at least, like, you know, yeah, you had family that was wicked, which a lot of our families are wicked too though. Shit, you know what I mean? But the thing doesn't mean that, you know, you can't get repentance of Yahweh Shema Shai, man. Because if you get out of that though, man, you know what I'm saying, that's the best thing as an Israelite, man, that you could do so, man, you know. But see, there it goes. It goes to show that the Most High hates Esau, man. Not just the man though, but his bloodline though, you know. He hates these Edomites though. You know what I'm saying though? These are the same Edomites that, you know, the Romans that killed Yahweh Shai though, man. These the soldiers, man. You know? Come on now, man. And I Googled though, and I said, who are the Romans? Are the Romans Edomites though? And Google said, yeah. Come on now. Because even Revelation, which Revelation 1:7 says, when he comes back though in the cloud though, that he's pretty much gonna get the ones that pierced him, man. You know? So that's vengeance on those Edomites that did that to Yahweh Shai, to our Lord though, man. You know? So let me get John John 8:42, it says, and Yahweh Shai said unto them, if God were your father, you will love me, for I proceeded forth and came from God, neither came I of myself, but he sent me. See, and he was talking to these wicked ass Pharisees, all right? It says, because, you know, the Pharisees were Israelites too, you know? But it says, 44, it says, you are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father you will do, you know? You are the devil, though. So he was talking about the Most High, man. He was talking about, man, you're like these fucking Edomites, though, man. You know what I'm saying, though? It says, and the lust of your father he will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and obeyed not in the truth. See, who was the murderer in the beginning, though, man? Who was that? Who was that murderer from the beginning? And obeyed not in the truth, because there was no truth in him. And when he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Who? Cain? The serpent? You see? So you were like these motherfuckers and shit, man. You know what I'm saying, though? You are your father, the devil, man. So it goes to show that even in the time of Yahweh Shai, though, he knew that these Edomites were wicked ass motherfuckers, man. These were Edomites. That's why you call them like the devil, though, man. You know? Because it says, ye are your father, the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer. Who was the murderer from the beginning, though? Cain. You see? And it goes to show, man, that's why we say, man, these niggas are wicked, though. They're picking up the trait as of like Esau, though, man. You know? And that's what we say, though, man, these motherfuckers, though, are wicked as fuck. When we're talking about our 2/3 of our people, right? When they're just being niggas and shit, we'll be like, look at this motherfucker right here. Wicked ass nigga, though, man. Because he's being like an Edomite, though, man. You know what I'm saying, though? So that's what we mean, though, man. You know what I mean? Even though we say like they're Israelites, though, yeah, they're Jake, though, but they picked up the characteristics of a fucking Edomite, though, man. Murderers and shit, man. Fucking Jake killing one another and shit, though, man. Especially in the times we live in right now, man. Jake be killing each other left and right like it ain't no thing, man. And those are all traits of fucking these Edomites, though, man. Going back to Cain, man. See? So I'll get this last precept right here. Revelation 20:1, it says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit. And the angel says, presents like Yahweh Shai, though, man. You know? Because he has the key, though. And it says, and in the bottomless pit, you know, a pit, it means like a land, though, you know, like a place, though. You know, because I believe 2nd Ezra, the 5th chapter, when it's talking about the characteristics of Yahweh's favorite things, though, from the flower to the animal to the people to the land, he called the land of Israel pit, you know? So this bottomless pit is talking about Europe, though, you know? It's talking about Europe, though. And a great chain in his hand. So the chain represents the slavery, though, because it says, oh, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil, and the Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. So it's talking about the time when, in the time of the Byzantine times, though, when this devil was under rule by Jake, though, the southern kingdom, though. When they ran out, though, they went into the fucking mountains and shit, though. So that's the time that it's talking about, though, man. So they were like, you know, chased out, though. But, you know what I'm saying, that's when the time of Byzantine times was when Jake was ruling, though, man. You know what I'm saying, though? That's why these kings, though, they were the king of England, the king of, the Britain, you know, the king of Germany. Jake was ruling all these different places, though, man. You see what I'm saying, though? So, because it says, it says, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil, and the Satan. See? So these people that got put into the, you know, got casted away, or got put, you know what I mean? Got chased away, in other words, were the same people from the time of the serpent, though. So throughout that time, though. Because these are the same people, man. It's the same spirit, you know? Because this is talking about, the times of the Byzantine times, though, man. So, you know? So like I said, who the wicked is these fucking devil, man. These Edomites, though, man. That's who the fucking wicked is, though, man. And like I said, our people could be wicked too. They're Israelites, though, but like I said, they're picking up traits, characteristics of these fucking Edomites, though, man. So that's the thing about it, though, man. And these fucking Edomites, though, they're natural born wicked people, man. You know. So the best thing is to stay away from these motherfuckers, man. And get closer to Yahweh Hashem outside, though, man. As you're an Israelite, but of course, if you're chosen by Him, though, you know. So with that, you know, hopefully this camp was edifying. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. So with that, I want to say, Shalom.